Coo For Who, Doctor Who podcast series 8, episode 11, Dark Water. I'm your host, Molly Southgate, and with me is
Martha Southgate
and
Rob Southgate. Wow.
Only one left.
This was
a big deal.
part 1 of the finale.
Mm-hmm.
I think, judging from what I'm saying, you can tell I liked it. What about you, Mal? What did you think?
I liked it a
Yeah?
lot. I loved it.
How about you, Martha?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
I'm not sure. There are things that I really liked, but then I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to ask it a different way.
Yeah, do, because I'm not.
Well, when you say you're not sure, did you
I'm not
not
sure.
like the episode, or did you not like where it's going?
I didn't like that Danny died.
Oh,
So you
I
didn't like the
hated that.
content.
I didn't like necessarily. I'm not quite sure where they're going with Missy, and I didn't.
Well, that's because you haven't seen any of the episodes with the Master.
Right.
You have no
so
idea.
I'm struggling with this.
Okay. So
Okay.
if they had shown it as both parts in one night, I think you probably would have had a better experience with that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I'm not I mean, I thought that it was well acted. The dialogue was
it's
good.
a good episode.
I don't
but
have
you
an issue with
personally
it.
are having an issue with the content of it. Okay. And Molly, but you liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah. What?
I said I loved it. I liked it and I loved it.
Okay. Well, I loved it.
Okay.
But that's also because, like, the Master thing for me was awesome. I was really excited that Missy turned out to be the Master. We've talked about different characters that Missy could be. So way back, we said the Master possibly. We haven't really known. We kept saying maybe it's
The
somebody
TARDIS.
new. The TARDIS, yeah. I have seen people say
River.
You keep thinking
You
River,
like
yeah.
River, yeah.
Yeah.
You
And I've seen other ones that people have said that I'm not as familiar with. Other characters. There's a character from I think the second season that people keep saying this character is due to come back, and Missy fits the mold. But we don't know. I don't even know who that character is. The fact that it was the Master totally was awesome. I thought that was great. And on our Uncle podcast on Next Stop Everywhere, Charles, in the first episode of the season, I believe, called it out. He said, well, Missy would be mistress, so wouldn't that be a female Master? And
He
left it
nailed
there.
it.
So
Nailed
he
it, Charles.
nailed it. Way to go, Charles. So I know that's spoilering. We're going right to the end and talking about Missy, but I think that was a big.
People, if they're listening to this,
Then they've seen it. They've seen it. So
Yeah.
the
There's
whole
no spoiler.
Master thing is really, really fantastic. I also love that everything was taking place right there in London.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I didn't see that
In
coming.
the
That was a
museum.
big shocker to me also.
Now,
How was it there, that city?
Okay,
it's an illusion.
so
Oh.
that city,
It's an illusion.
I was being Doug Henning.
when Danny looked out and he saw, he opened the window and he saw the city and it looked like it was inside of a ball. I was thinking of Dyson's Sphere. Dyson's Sphere is not a vacuum, but
Because he does use that in his vacuum, the Dyson guy.
does he? Well, Dyson, he has a sphere in it, sure.
Yeah, that's kind of
Dyson's
the whole
Sphere
point.
is
the ball.
is when it's like an exoskeleton put around a planet to create an atmosphere. So if you have an unstable planet, let's say the sun was getting super hot and we were going, wait, life on Earth is going to disappear. We could build a shield around the Earth that would maintain its atmosphere and protect it from that sun without us having to leave the planet and go somewhere else. That's the idea of Dyson's Sphere. So when they showed that, I was like, oh, it's kind of Dyson's Sphere, but then I was like, well, there's no planet in the middle of it, but it was clearly inside of some type of ball. So, and it reminded me of Coruscant from Star Wars, where it's a whole planet that's a city. So I thought that was kind of cool, too. But what did it turn out to be? Did you catch what that actually is?
No, I didn't.
Martha, did you catch it?
Afterlife?
What it is that ball that Missy kept looking up at, that electronic ball.
Yeah, that with the red thing.
That's where he was, but he wasn't physically in there. She said that's like a hard drive. So their consciousness is uploaded into the hard drive, and the doctor was saying that hard drive is Gallifrey technology. That's why he was like, how do you have Time Lord technology? That's a Gallifrey hard drive. So is Danny inside that sphere? No, but his consciousness is. So he's thinking he's seeing all this, but really that's the inside of the sphere, but that's it. So
That's
I know that
thought.
got pretty complicated.
My whole thought on that is,
Okay.
That's my whole thought on the episode.
So why don't we talk about the beginning?
Okay. I want to talk. Okay, so
We don't have to go in order. We can talk about anything.
No, I want to talk
here.
about the beginning. So Clara calls Danny.
Yes.
And she's going to come clean. She's got all her Post-it notes with all the things she's done, all the things she has to fess up about.
Well, and it was an interesting grouping of things. Like it had Impossible Girl
It had
on there.
in almost each episode this season.
Yeah, but then it had lying, because we keep talking about how she keeps lying. And she was trying to decipher all this. She's trying to make sense of it. So she had these Post-it notes all over. And she calls Danny.
That was funny that it was like, I thought like something came and put.
Yeah, so did I. I didn't know what that was.
Like
maybe she saw it and was like,
no,
Danny, did you do this? But that wasn't it.
No. She did it so that she wouldn't forget anything because she wanted to come clean.
Right.
And she said to him, I loved when she said to him, I love you. And she said, I'm not saying it like, oh, well, see you. Okay, love ya. You know, it's not a pat on the back. She said, I am saying it, and I will never say it to anyone else again.
You own these words.
Oh,
You're the
that
only
was
one.
Really awesome.
That was great writing. Yeah,
and then he didn't
she also
respond.
said before she did that, she said, before I say all the bad stuff, I want to say I love you. And then she said that.
But then he didn't respond, and I kept. My first thought was I would have looked at my phone, because at that point, when no one responds to me, is when I realize my cheek has hit the mute button on
which
my
happens
iPhone.
all the time when you talk to me.
I do it all the time, and people will be sitting there, and I could, I'm like, what's going on? How come they're not answering me? And then I pull it back, I'm like, I hit mute again.
Right.
So they can't hear that I'm talking.
I'd look at my phone just in case maybe I had bumped something and switched calls. Like someone was calling in and I switched calls, so I'm saying this to my student loan or something. These are the last words last time I'm ever going to say it to you. I love you. Really? You owe us money for college. Right. That's what I'd be afraid of.
But they had like the noise was weird. Yeah. And I was thinking, you didn't hear screeching of tires.
You didn't hear
anything. But these weird noises, like crackling, and I kept thinking, oh, something intercepted.
Right.
It was.
But now we know. I mean, if he got hit and the phone went flying, we wouldn't have heard screeching tires. It might have just been boom, instantly, like fallen away. It was just like a shock to the phone.
No.
So I don't know.
Phones don't have shocks to the phone. That
I
makes
have
no
shocks.
sense.
I don't know.
I have shocks.
My mind is reeling from this episode.
If the phone didn't shut off,
true.
It should have been recording. It should have been.
Maybe it hit mute. Maybe that's why we didn't hear anything.
No, because But
we didn't hear a thud. We didn't hear.
We heard weird crackly noises.
Yeah.
So then this woman picks up and says, I'm so sorry. And
this is a paid political announcement.
Yeah. And that's when she realizes that he was hit by a car, and then she goes and
now this was interesting.
Oh my gosh, so many feels.
Watching that scene, because when the woman says, I'm so sorry, and we know Danny was hit by a car, and they show him laying in the street. We don't get a good look at him, obviously, but they show him getting on a gurney, and she's running. I noticed that it looked like her clothes changed from when she was in her apartment, when she was running, and then when she was standing in the street looking out and everything was gone.
That was days later.
But are you sure?
Yes! They had already done the memorial.
The memorial was already up. You're right. Oh, so she was still... It was like she went back to that spot.
She just probably kept going back there.
Oh, it wasn't really clear to me.
It was very
that's
clear.
why she kept going back there. She kept looking like, oh my gosh.
It's not real.
It's like the end of Spider-Man 2. Spoilers, at the end of Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2. When he's standing in the grave, at the grave, and you keep seeing the seasons change, and he's just standing there and standing there and standing there. Because people are like, why is it raining? Why is it sunny? Because it's not super obvious.
She was just standing there.
He was there so much trying to comprehend her death.
And that's what she was doing. So she's in her kitchen, and she says to her grandma or whoever the old lady was,
grandma.
She said, I am owed.
That's her grandma. That's Nana Oswald.
I am owed.
Yes.
And the phone keeps ringing and she's not answering it.
Yes.
And then
when she goes, how was it? This is such a shocking thing. And she goes, no, it was boring. It was ordinary. I deserve more. Mm-hmm. And when you think about it, I mean, the crazy thing she's seen, the crazy thing they've done, to have somebody taken from her in a simple car accident is really a letdown. I mean, not I don't mean in a negative way. I mean more like even harder for her to process. Like, we've fought Cybermen, we've fought Daleks, yet a car coming down the street bumped him off. It's a strange thing.
Yes. And so it's the doctor calling. And I almost peed my pants when he's on his phone and he's yanking the cord.
Yeah.
What? He has all this technology and he has a corded
that big
phone.
Corded phone, I know.
That big giant handset and everything. I died.
Now, this was
laughing.
interesting. She must have been calling him and he didn't pick up, because now he's calling her and the first thing he says is, why were you calling?
No, he says, what can I do for you?
What can I do for you? But that means...
And he never says that.
No.
Right.
He says, what can you do for me?
When she also says, how are you doing? And she goes, what's happening? And she goes, nothing's happening. Same old, same old.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even know Danny's been killed yet.
Mm-hmm.
So then they kind of jumped around with the time. So we'll do it more sequential the way it happened. We're not going to go through these little time jumps, but there was a moment.
Time jumps.
Right. There was a moment where you saw...
It's a show that we have time traveling, Mom. You just gave...
If you haven't watched Doctor Who.
I know, but...
She just gave me a look like...
Oh, I didn't get why that was so funny.
Time jumps. Time travel. I got it.
All
Yeah.
right, well,
Oh my God. She just...
Someday we're going to sit down and explain what Doctor Who is to
I'm
Mom.
not out of it.
So we see them in a volcano, and he looks like he's
in it today.
He looks like he's been knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it did these little time jumps. Ha!
Still not funny.
So what we saw was Clara inside. She comes into the TARDIS, and she's acting like everything's normal. And she's walking around while he's futzing with the controls, and she's gathering keys.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets these two little discs.
7 keys.
7 keys.
Yes.
And
I'm 7 years old.
She's asked if she can have the sleep discs or something sleep patch. And he's like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can't have it. She goes, well, it'd help me sleep. No. And that's what she was grabbing as a sleep patch.
And she stole it.
So she goes up and right on the side of his neck.
And I would like to point out, he is wearing the wedding ring again.
He is wearing the wedding ring. It was very obvious. Now that you've pointed it out, I can't unsee it. Yeah. It's there.
I'm not sure what that's about.
So then we see them
probably
inside.
Ask him.
We see them inside the volcano, and she has the keys. And Molly, what is she doing with those keys?
She's going to throw them.
Why?
Because they're the TARDIS keys. And if he doesn't get her back to Danny, he'll never go in his TARDIS again.
Right. So that's what she's saying. You're going to help me. You're going to bring Danny back, or I'm going to throw these keys in the volcano. And he says no. And she throws a key in, and she says, every time you say no, I'm throwing another key. And at some point, you're never going back in.
Now, what do we know about Doctor Who and about what the abilities are for...
I thought he had a key in his pocket.
I did too.
Right.
I thought there's no way he told her
no
where all
way.
7 keys are and then he doesn't have any more hidden somewhere.
Right.
But what do
we know is he's always one step ahead.
What do we know about the dead people and the fact that he can't
Bring them back.
Right.
We watched the Rose episode.
With her dad.
Uh-huh.
Right. And that, when they did interrupt time to bring him back to life, it caused major problems. And the doctor was very clear, you can't do this.
So we're not going to... this is upsetting.
What's upsetting?
That we're not going to get Danny back.
Right. Danny's gone.
So how does Danny have a great-great-grandson unless Clara's already pregnant?
Unless there is the possibility...
Is Clara pregnant?
Well, that's one possibility, that Clara's pregnant.
She doesn't look it.
No, but you could, if she's newly pregnant.
Another possibility is that they will travel back to a point before that and take Danny and her and Splinter off, kind of like David Tennant and Rose did, okay? They'll splinter off and go into another dimension or go somewhere else and live out their lives and let that Danny die. So there's a possibility there. The other thing is, maybe because this was all orchestrated by Missy, maybe he can intercept this moment. Because if Danny's in that hard drive, if he's been uploaded
You
there,
know what I realized?
he is not passed on.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, guess what happened?
What?
Rose's dad was hit by a car.
Right.
Danny was hit by a car.
Right. You drawing connections here?
Connections?
Connections.
Yes.
Are you a clinician?
I'm drawing connections.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anybody else hit by a car that we know of?
No, but it seems to be getting hit by a car is the major death thing.
More people on Doctor Who are hit by cars than any other form of death.
Yes.
Or at least loved ones.
I was afraid Clara was going to fall into that volcano, and how did she not burn to death?
It was
standing there with that
totally
fire?
Lord of the Rings.
Well, it's because she wasn't really there.
That was totally Lord of the Rings when she threw the keys in the volcano and they burned up. I was expecting Gollum to show up, which would have been awesome.
No, it would not have.
Yes, it would. You have no idea how awesome.
He would have killed them in their sleep.
What?
Because it's creepy.
Maybe he's the thing under the bed and listen.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah,
So-
with, like,
Gollum.
The doctor is the one who
Gotham.
put her in the dream state
uh-huh.
using the disc, the
Yes.
patch, the sleep patch.
Right. Well, no, he
And-
said it wasn't a sleep patch. It,
It
was
was
a
a
dream
dream
patch.
It puts you in a dream state. He said, I was curious how far you would go. Well, he saw that she was willing to do anything. And
Yeah.
and then he tells her to go to hell. That
Right.
was really funny. And
But she goes, "Where are we going now?" And he goes, "Go to hell."
and she says, yes, I do deserve that. And then she starts to walk out all dejectedly. And he's
His
like, where are you
face
going?
His face was awesome because he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We're going to go to hell to try to get, or wherever
We
Danny
gotta go
is.
find Danny.
See, now it's funny. You said, why? Oh, he must think Danny's in hell. Well, maybe he does because Danny was a soldier.
Right.
Because he
He said that.
He said, I don't know what happens. He said, that's something I've always wanted to explore, but I've never really done it. Now, there was that episode where he went to the planet where it was alluded to that they had captured the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And the devil was at the center of this planet. So it's a really interesting thing that he's kind of explored some of this before, but here he's saying, it's something I want to explore, but it's not really something I've done. So kind of a cool idea.
And he said to her, you betrayed me. And he said, you let me down.
Yeah.
And that was a really kind of a painful thing.
Right. But what did he say after that? He said, do you think I care for you so little that betraying me would make a difference?
Mm-hmm.
That's sweet.
I know, he loves her.
He does. Well,
That's all I have to say.
It's a very complex relationship, but when you boil it down, it's not as complex as you think.
Well, and then he said, don't do that with the eyes. It's like they inflate.
Yeah.
How do you even do that with your eyes? It's like they inflate.
She was just getting all sad.
She was going to weep
Yeah.
openly.
So Danny wakes up and he's in an office.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen this kind of office thing. You knew immediately he was in the promised land.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
And this guy comes in and he's like, it's the underworld, the nether space. Some call it the promised land.
Yeah, well, he said, you're dead,
Spear.
and this is what's next.
Nether spear.
Yeah, nether sphere. What did I say?
Nether face.
Nether face? Ooh, he was in
Like
Texas
Leatherface?
Chainsaw.
Like Leatherface, yeah.
Leatherfoot.
Leather.
Well, we're all having a problem speaking today.
We're here to get your boyfriend back from the dead. So buck up and get some attitude.
Yeah.
That's what Doctor Who told her. I'm not going in there with you looking like that. You look like you've melted.
Yes.
And he said,
His name's not Doctor Who. His name's Doctor. You said that Doctor Who says that. His name's not Doctor Who.
No, it is.
Wow, geek cred. Flushing away. Maybe you haven't seen this show. It's called Doctor Who. It's about a guy. He's a doctor. People ask
I don't
who
think
that
I've
is.
ever called him Doctor Who before.
I don't think you have either,
It
but
was
it's
just
very
a little
funny.
slip. But, well, you know why? Because I have it written here in my notes because he said Doctor Who.
He said, yeah, he did.
But
right.
but I just thought it was so funny when he was like, he said, we're here to get your boyfriend back from the dead, so buck up and get some attitude.
Right.
Yeah, because she's like, but what about this? And
Yeah.
And did everyone agree that Missy looked like Mary Poppins?
yes.
As soon as she walked out, I said,
I wrote down
oh
Scary
my
Poppins.
gosh.
Because she was definitely Scary Poppins.
And she kissed the doctor.
yeah.
That's why I thought she was River.
He was so uncomfortable
Yeah, but
with
she
that.
didn't kiss him in a nice way. River
No,
would've,
he
wouldn't
liked
have.
when River kissed him.
Yeah,
he
no,
didn't
he was
like
horrified
Missy
over this.
kissing him. Well, and then Missy says that she's a
I'm
robot.
married.
Yeah, Missy says she's a robot. She says
A droid.
A droid. I'm Mobile Intelligence Systems Interface. Okay, did
and
you
that's
guys
what
buy
Missy
that?
stands for.
Right. Did you guys buy that
That's why I
though?
was spelling it wrong.
Yes.
I never bought that.
I know. No. I
when
never
she did that
believed
and said that, I'm like, no.
that she was a robot. Molly,
well, and then
really?
The face he made when he put his hand on her heart.
Hearts?
Right. I was like, no, this not a droid. But it was
and
an
she said
interesting...
my heart. How would droids have hearts?
Right. It was an interesting way to play it.
But we knew better. And
Yes.
he knew better, because he's not.
Right.
He's not
So-
like me.
He goes, who maintains your heart? And she goes, the doctor.
Right.
Dr. Chang! That was
Well, he
so
said
funny.
Doctor Who, and then she said
Yeah.
Dr. Chang. I
And
kept
she
wanting
yelled-
it to be Chang from
And she
Community.
yelled,
Community.
and then she yelled, Dr. Chang!
Yeah. So we meet Dr. Chang,
Mhm.
and he is oblivious to Missy's plan. We find out later in the episode. He thinks that he really is. They're harvesting people, but before they go on, and they're taking care of them. He thinks that they're doing good things with this. It's not really clear what he thinks they're doing, other than harvesting these souls. So it's kind of a unexplained thing that's going on, but he's buying into it. Missy is pretending to be a droid, but it's very clear on the second viewing. She never says it in front of Dr. Chang,
Mm-hmm.
only to the doctor and Clara. So later on, when
Dr. Chang and Clara.
when the doctor says it to Chang, he goes, "But Missy's a droid." He goes,
No,
She's
not.
not a droid.
That
She's
was
my
funny.
boss." Yeah,
Right.
because she never said it in front of him.
Mhm.
Really obvious. There was
And-
another obvious thing going on. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you don't. Because we have
Uh-oh.
to talk about the Wi-Fi.
Oh, yeah.
And
You have iPads here?
he says, we have Steve Jobs.
Right.
He's the one who created Apple, who
Right.
created the iPad and the iPhone and everything.
Right.
Mhm.
And he
We have
died.
Steve
So they're
Jobs.
saying, no, we've got him.
Right. That was really clever.
Yeah.
Of course, on Twitter, when that happened, I saw people writing things like, maybe if they had the person who really designed it, Steve Jobs was just a figure. And I'm like,
no.
okay, nerds, settle down. It's funny.
Oh, my gosh.
Boy, nerd rage sometimes, you know?
But they also asked him if he's ever killed anybody.
Yes.
And
Once again, this is coming back to haunt him. And this was crazy because we got to see it play out.
what'd you think?
Did you understand what happened in there?
He just was shooting things.
He threw a grenade.
Yes.
Right. He opened a door and shot into that door. But
And
what
who
did he
was
do?
in there? Who's the one who came out to meet with him in this promised land?
It was a little boy.
So that's who he killed. That's why he's been so sad this whole time.
Oh, because he's a teacher. And that boy was about the age of...
Right. So when they're
Most
saying,
of
have you ever
the
killed
students.
anybody? The reason he gets all upset is because he accidentally killed a little boy. Because he thought he was doing what a soldier should do. And he opened that door. He thought there were, the enemy was in there. And he opened the door and just shot in there, which is what they're supposed to do to clear the room. But what was in there was a little boy. That's why it's so tragic and so sad. And boy, you could tell that just ripped Danny apart. This was interesting, though. In the afterlife, according to them, you have to, if they request it, you have to sit and confront this person.
Mm.
And then Danny tried to reach out and touch the kid's hand, and the kid ran out of the room. I felt so bad for both of them.
Mhm.
Because, of course, the boy would hate him and be scared of him, but Danny did not.
No.
No, man, that was tough.
Mm.
Wow. So we got to see his regret. We got to see that past. That was tough.
To lighten the mood,
Yes.
Yes.
we had Clara and the doctor talking to somebody, I don't remember who, and he kept speaking for Clara.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Speak for me again, and I'll detach something from you."
All right. Well,
What
this
do
is
you
when they
think
were
she would
talking to
take?
Dr. Chang. His foot.
Why?
Well, that would hurt.
He's going to take something. His
She's
nose,
got to
his
take
ear.
something.
Yeah.
Hair.
Hair.
Whatever it is, it would hurt.
Yes.
So she was threatening him and said, "I'll detach something."
She's not
from
going to
you."
gently clip his fingernails.
No.
No.
And
She will rip them out of his
Oh,
existence.
so then he says, "All right, but hurry up." And he says, "Could you please hurry up, or I'll hit you with my shoe."
They're very violent on this
Yeah,
episode.
They're very violent to that one guy.
Yeah, to Chang. Right. So this whole thing, this is just like that other scene where it kind of went out of sequence, or at least they were jumping all over. We get Chang describing what the 3 W's are. Now, he never said outright what the 3 W's are that I could tell.
Okay, what do you think?
I don't know. I wrote it down, and I really tried to pay attention.
He didn't. He told you what the 3 words are.
Yeah, he didn't say what they are.
Yes, he did.
What are they? Busted.
It was like, please help me, or please.
Well, yeah, but that's not 3 W's.
No,
the W means words.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Your daughter picked it up.
So it was the
I was
3
better than you at that.
words, right?
Yeah. And it was please help me.
No,
please.
Don't cremate me. That's what the people were yelling.
What does cremate
Don't
mean?
cremate me.
They burn their bodies.
So 3W, I got it now, are the 3 words. Don't cremate me. And what that means...
Because they can feel it.
Right. Is it that you leave your body, but you still feel what's happening.
Which is going to stop so many people from getting cremated now.
Right.
In our world.
In reality?
In reality, because they're going to think that now.
Well, no, but then they'd also have to think that the Cybermen are harvesting their...
They probably are.
Yeah,
So we're all going to not get cremated because we're afraid we're going to feel it now.
Yeah.
You know what?
Who. Doctor Who ruined death for all of us.
Ruined death. Thanks, Doctor.
How did it ruin it?
Doctor Who ruined death.
No, it didn't.
So, okay. So we get an explanation of these skeletons. How creepy were these skeletons? Every time you kept seeing like the heads move and stuff.
Well, and you saw the symbol.
Yes.
In between their legs. You saw the symbol on the doors.
And it was so obvious.
And it was the Cybermen's
and
eyes.
I didn't get it.
That was great because I'm watching it going...
I loved it when the doctor's like, I'm missing something. And he walked into the elevator with Dr. Chang and the doors closed. And
it was so clearly the
eyes. The eye, like the black eyes.
Yep.
And then it was like the silver.
Oh, it was so obvious. And you know what was funny? I had figured out when we were watching it the first time, without realizing it was... You said it was in the preview. I didn't see them in the preview. I saw that symbol and I kept thinking, what is that symbol? It looks so familiar. And about halfway through the episode, I realized that looks like a Cyberman's eye.
Mm-hmm.
And when the doctors... But I kept thinking, how are we seeing the skeletons? Like, then I started putting those connections together, but I didn't have it realized. But when those doors closed and the doctor was saying, it's like, it's so obvious. I'm like, it was so obvious.
Yes.
That was a really fun way of doing it.
It was.
And what was it with the water? Why was it called dark water? Do you remember?
Because it would... Let's say I stuck my hand into the dark water.
Yes.
You wouldn't see any of my clothes.
Right. It only shows organic material.
Well,
I only wear organic clothes.
Oh.
Joke. Because we're all organic.
Yes. But it would only show, like, the person under there is what they're saying, basically. And they were saying, you're not seeing the exoskeleton. So when we were seeing those skeletons sitting there, he's thinking, oh, this is like a mausoleum. These are dead people sitting in chairs. But it's not. It's something sitting there with an exoskeleton. It was so obvious. Once the water started going and he realized, he's like, oh, Cybermen. It was crazy.
Rows and rows of them.
Yeah, and Missy kills Dr. Chang and releases the Cybermen.
And then Dr. Chang's a Cyberman.
Was he? No, he was just obliterated.
Dr. Chang. And it said Dr.
Where did it say that?
Chang in the big area where Clara was talking to Dan.
Oh, that one behind her was Dr. Chang?
It said Dr. Chang.
I didn't notice that. Another good catch by Molly.
Yes, I take all the credit.
Nice.
So this was actually another funny moment when he's panicking and he's like, I got to get back to Claire. And he's trying to go up the stair or go to the elevator. And she's like, I disabled the elevators. And she still hasn't said that she's the master, but she's saying, come on, you know who I am. And he goes, there have to be stairs here. And she goes, of course. What do you think? I am a Dalek? That was very funny. That was a quick one.
Because Daleks can't go upstairs.
Right. So then he goes to the door and they go out the door. And I'm thinking they're going into another section or going upstairs. But what did they go out to when he opened the door?
They went out to London.
They were at that museum.
Uh-huh.
So they went out into the streets of London. This whole time they've been in the museum. Yeah. And that's when we saw the sphere sitting there. And we're like, that's when he's like, it's a Gallifrey hard drive. That was crazy. Everything was happening right there in that room. But we didn't realize it. But Clara was upstairs in Chang's office.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. So
Museum.
Wah.
A museum mausoleum.
Yep, museum. You are not quick on the uptake today, Mark.
I thought you just didn't know how to say the word.
Museum.
You were doing a pun.
No, that would be me, because I'm stumbling all over the place today. So this was great, too. When they go running out, and he's running around, everybody run, run! And Cybermen are starting to come out of the museum, and Missy's sitting there.
Everybody's like, are you crazy?
No, Missy had the great line. She says, oh, another ranting Scotsman in the street. I had no idea there was a match today.
Right.
And he was running up and he's like, run, run, run. And she's like, it's not going to do you any good. All the dead are going to rise. And her plan is happening. And that's when this was so cool. He freezes and he's like, who are you? Now, how does he not know?
Yeah.
All the clues are now there. I mean, it was a great reveal for us because it was like, you wanted her to say it, but I kept thinking he touched her where her two hearts were. He had to know she was a Time Lord. He may not know she's the master.
Technology.
Yes,
She
come
had that,
on.
yeah.
Either that or all of this, he's just so off kilter. The fact that he couldn't recognize, because he's Scottish. The fact that he couldn't recognize the Cyberman's eye, the fact that he couldn't put together
he was just off.
Missy, something was not right.
Because he was upset about what happened with Clara.
True, that could be it. But when she said Missy, short for mistress, which is the female version of the master, I couldn't be the master forever now, could I? I was like, wow, that was awesome. That was so great. Now, you guys have not seen a Master episode yet, have you?
Never in my life.
The Master, other than the Daleks, I would say is his greatest foe. Because he's another Time Lord who's crazy.
So this is the Master pretending to be a woman?
Not pretending. He's been regenerated into a woman. The last time we saw the Master...
They can do that? So then that means Dr...
The Doctor... Oh, you almost called him Doctor Who again! You're having a problem today. Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's something that people always talk about. Like, why hasn't he regenerated into being a woman? Mm-hmm. Do you know, when at this last regeneration, there were a lot of rumors of people that he might regenerate into. One of them I heard was Judi Dench.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been... I think it would have been too shocking.
An actress.
Because people were so shocked at him being older that I think if it had been an older woman, I think it would have been a harder one for them to grasp onto.
It would certainly throw off the chemistry, etc., with the companions. Like, it would throw...
Right.
I think it would be weird.
I think when Capaldi's time is up, which I'm hoping isn't for 10 years,
right? When
his time is up, I think the next Doctor clearly could be a woman. I think the time is now. I think this Doctor leads into a woman beautifully, especially because of this Master thing where it would make sense. I think this was a great way to introduce that idea because they are due.
Women against women.
For Master against who? What? The Doctor! Ah!
Oh, you did it!
I did.
You said Doctor Who.
No, I said against who? The Doctor!
Oh, who?
I'm not Mom. I'm not calling him Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Wah. Wah. Is that it, you guys? Or do you have anything more you want to say about it?
Nope.
All right.
End of episode.
Next week, the season finale.
I can't believe it.
I know, I can't wait, though. It's going to be awesome.
There's 2 episodes.
No, there's one more episode, and that'll be the end.
And then the Christmas special.
And then the Christmas special. And then...
8 months.
No, well, not for us. Then we jump into Chris Eccleston.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be awesome. That's going to be fun, especially after this. You're going to get to see... By the time we get to David Tennant, he has a major Master episode.
He has feels.
He has feels? Oh, Dr. Lovey. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Seasons.
I do.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can listen to past episodes of this and all of our podcasts at our website, which is...
www.southgatemediagroup.com.
Yeah, the website has been newly redesigned, so please check it out. We have past episodes. We have all of our social media links. We have a new forum that is just getting underway where you can go in and talk about Doctor Who and any of the shows we do. We've got them for all the different shows, forums to start chatting. It's really going to thrive. It's going to be a lot of fun. Another thing that we're toying with, and I'm going to throw this out here, we have a new podcast called Live at the Blue Box, which is a cafe in Elgin, Illinois. And we're doing our different podcasts and some other projects live there every Saturday night. starting in November of this year, 2014. We are booked solid through January, and I'm sure we're going to extend past that. But one of the things we want to do, we're toying with, is doing a live read of fan fiction. So if you have written a Doctor Who script or Doctor Who fan fiction, send it to our email if you'd like us to do it, with something that says we have permission to do it on a podcast. And the best ones that we get, we're planning on reading live in front of an audience and then putting it on the Live at the Blue Box podcast. Our email is southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. And in the subject line, put Doctor Who fanfic. Okay? That would be great. And please send it along. We'll read through stuff. The best stuff the ones that we determine are the winners are the ones we're going to read live. I hope we get so many that we have to read live every week for 10 years. That would be incredible. And I'm sure there's great fanfic out there. I mean, there's so much good stuff for Doctor Who, and it can be any doctor. It can be your own creation, whatever it is. But please send it along. Once again, make sure you put, we have permission to do it on the show and on the podcast. That's it. Thank you again for listening, everybody. Send in that fanfic. Until next week, Alonzi!